Hey, what's up, dude? It's Lucky here. So I was just watching your video, and most of your tricks are solid. I try really hard not to tell people how to do tricks particularly, but just where to keep their arms and their movements that they're using, particularly when they're doing the tricks. Like I feel like the trick is where your imagination comes in. So for me, you're kind of at a spot that I was stuck at for a while right now, but you haven't been gloving for that long, so that's a good thing. So you just need to find more like key transitions first of all, like keeping all of your tricks together in one thing. Like sometimes you'll space off into like another concept without really moving it there. Like a good example is like not proper use of grid work. Like if you're here, instead of just moving here into these whips, you have to find a way to get there. You know what I mean? Even if it's really subtle, like instead of just being back here and just like going into a whip, maybe even just like finger rolling here and then bringing the whips. Or like if you're doing some tech over here, you can't just like do the tech over here. You have to find a way to bring it over there and then push it around and then make sure everything has a purpose. Like this thumb doesn't go down for no reason. You like pull it down. And so, oh, I feel like I need to get whips to this next drop or something, you'd stay here. You'd be like, all right, well, what's a good way to get into those whips? Like right here, maybe? Your musicality and your tricks are on point, though. There was one spot that I thought was a really good example. I don't remember the trick you did going into it, but when you go back to your video, it's where you came into this. Like, really, it was nice and slow and perfect, and you did that perfect transition into it. The key is to get your tricks with all of that type of a transition, like making sure that like everything has its spot, and it'll make your concepts look that much cleaner. And okay, and then another point. This is my last one. So kind of back to the lack of grid work a little bit is maybe go watch. I'm sure you've probably seen it. Ice Cream Teddy's tutorial on the grid. I mean, really watch it. I've watched it hundreds of times. I make sure I at least watch it once or two every 2 or 3 months so I can get a full understanding of what he's saying. You really need to make sure. Like another good example was you came up like here, and you just kind of twisted them, which doesn't look bad at all. It's fine, but a good way to take that trick and make it look better is to imply the grid work. So instead of coming here and just like turning them separately, like instead get that lock on that point. So like get the point here on your pinkies and turn them so that it has that grid work. You see what I mean? And then move them and then so that way, and then same thing with your liquids too. You kind of bring them around. Like it's okay to do that circle, just make sure it's that consistent circle. You're either doing it in a circle, a perfect circle, not like up or down or anything, unless you like pause, go up, and then back into that circle. Or if you're doing with like you're kind of doing like a whip tunnel, whips, that's where that circle liquid comes in. But then you did a really good job where you had this, like you had that kind of down, but don't get this mistaken with that figure eight like circle. You really want to keep those kind of just because they flow together so well. So try and keep this really straight, and then sometimes you can bring it into the circle and then bring it back, but really try to keep those clear where those liquids are flat. Keep them on flat edges, flat planes on the grid, like how you'll see I'm moving up and down only. Then I move straight forward. Still on that flat plane. The key is elbows too. Make sure your elbows are moving with your hands. You don't just want to move your hands because see that that looks a little sloppier. If my whole arms are moving with it. And here we go. Back into that. So you see that, like how in there, I tried to keep my elbows flat, try to keep my circle stuff in that circle motion, you know, and then move into that plane. All right, well, that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think, and thanks for letting me know that you appreciate my shows and stuff. You know, I work hard on them, so yeah, thank you. Just let me know what you think.